And here we are back with another episode, I think a very cool and exciting episode of the Corporate Happiness Show. I'm your host, Jacqueline Pirtle, and you can find me at FreakyHealer.com. So, my guest today, oh my, where do I start, right? It's like a really power woman, a really power woman with a huge open heart, excellent in leadership and so many experiences, and that's why I'm so happy and honored and humble that she actually said yes to being on my show. So welcome, Janelle Khargie.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm flattered with the introduction.
Well, it's absolutely true. So for a little bit of a background, it's like we met over LinkedIn. We both live in Tampa, paradise. And we met over LinkedIn. And we realized that we actually were on similar events or the same events. And we're like, oh, you were there? Oh, why didn't I, bump into you? And then we actually said, that's it. We're going to have coffee together. And I was just so excited to actually meet you because I sensed and I knew that you are just a magic maker. You are a magic maker to me because here it is. You are a entrepreneur. You're a businesswoman. You're a mom, wonderful mom, and you have experience in politics. You have experience in the government and you support businesses. You are a people person. You shout out for diversity and you highlight everything that's really important. So yes, so what do you say about all of that? This is incredible.
Oh, I'm tired. Well, again, I didn't put it in such a long list the way you did, but yes, it is a lot that I do. I don't do it all at once. I do feel like it's in baby steps or different times of the day. But in reality, as far as the entrepreneurship, it started with me just wanting to help. And me wanting to help because I needed a lot of help as a young person growing up. I am of Indian descent, South Asian Indian descent, and I am first generation in this country. And I needed a lot of help when I first, started going to school, having relationships with people who are not from my family and my culture, just like any young child when you're leaving. So even from a young girl, I've always tried to, again, I needed help. And then when I found out I knew how to do something, I just wanted to share this information with my friends, my family, and it just blossomed as I became more and more of a mature young lady and then an adult and a mom, spreading this type of information all across the board to my children, my friends, and then again, now my business colleagues and other women in business, other men in business, other young people in business who want to know how to do certain things that unfortunately no one was there to help them along the way. So now I've just become that person that it all resonates with, again, helping, because at one time in my life, I needed some help. And hey, if I can go back and give it, pay it forward, that's where it's at.
I love that. I love, that you use that as a foundation. It's like your fuel and it's your why. And you know what? When you have a why like that, you're never going to run out of energy because that why comes from your heart. It's in your heart to pay forward, to help people. It's in your heart. And when you do something from the base of your heart, you will never run out of energy.
Correct.
It's always fueling because when you help somebody, it fuels your heart again. And there you are again. So, hey, this is a show about happiness in business, corporate happiness. And it's really dear to me as a mindful happiness expert and thought leader to kind of present people with different viewpoints in what you think, like what people think that actually means and where it's lacking and what we could do. So when I say happiness at work, in business, corporate, what comes to your mind first?
Wow. Well, for me, when it comes to work and business, happiness has always been just being able to want to go to work and like excited to go to work. And it wasn't necessarily to do physical work, but for the individuals that I was working with, for the relationships that I had already created at the created at the workplace. So for me, happiness is, again, when it's dealing with work, like corporate work, it's an environment. It's actually, again, wanting to actually go to work and be around individuals who are doing the same thing that I'm doing. And we can share stories with each other. We can laugh with each other because we're all on the same team. I mean, we may be in different departments, but we're all on the same team. We're all working for a CEO, a CIO, CFO, someone in charge, and we all have, rules and different metrics that we have to abide by so we can go to the next promotion at our job or get the next raise. But at the end of the day, we all have our little stresses, our little complaints. And this is where, and in the workplace, my little happiness, my little moments of peace is being able to, again, maybe go to the coffee room and getting an amazing cup of coffee, and then meeting a good friend from another department and talking about the weekend. Maybe seeing a funny dad joke and sharing it with one of my colleagues again, and seeing them just chuckle from the email and so forth. So again, happiness is not necessarily for me, in the workplace, is not necessarily, again, like a metrics or promotions or those finite qualitative things. It's more, again, a feeling, more quantitative, how we feel around each other. So if I find a place of work that I am smiling to go to in the morning, I am entertaining my colleagues even after work, maybe before work, sending little jokes during the day. I saw funny, Instagram is great at creating these funny memes and funny pictures, so I like to send them. So that's happiness for me. And I do feel like that's a really good way to look at happiness in the workplace.
I like it because it kind of highlights the basic nature of it. First of all, it's a feeling. It's something, it's an experience.
Yes.
And you can create it. If you're unhappy, you can actually stop right there in your tracks and say, okay, I'm not feeling so well, but I can shift this all around. And then it's not this big, huge mountain, really. It's really these little things, back to basics, right?
Correct.
To create that and I think what strikes me, what you're saying, is be active, be involved.
Correct.
Right? Because it's like, if you just go to work and like, well, where's my happiness? That may not always work, especially if you're in a place or in a company that you may not are happy right now, and you kind of are looking for a change, which is cool and it's great. But to be active and saying, you know what, I want happiness, so I'm actively creating and participating in making happiness happen.
Correct. And that's something that I did have to discover, that we are in total control of our own happiness. We actually, when I discovered that, it was amazing. I did feel magical. I did feel like, once I, again, discovered the control, and because I am a control freak as well, I'm a mom. So when I discovered I had this kind of control, it was like a superpower. And I will tell you, we all have to go to work. Not everyone, unfortunately, we're not all, royalty, and we not all have just like, the ability to just sit on a beach. I would love to do that and drink, coconut water out of a live coconut on my hammock all day. And I'm sure we all have our different fantasies of things that we want to do, but we do have to live in the real world, and we do have to pay bills, and we do have to put gas in our car. So this is where, again, we have to go to work. And that's not a bad thing to have to go to work. It's okay. But this is where, again, we have to take control of our happiness. So I actually did that. I was working somewhere that I really wasn't the happiest. And we created a community outreach, or a corporate employee outreach, a very first ever within our company. And we actually, it made the tenure at this particular company so much more easier. And many of us created relationships that stemmed beyond our roles. So when we left those particular job descriptions with this corporate company, that many of us were not too happy to be working for them, but we were very happy to be working with each other. We, again, from a corporate perspective, we were able to be each other's support system and referral system, and again, grow from a corporate level, because we all were able to, again, we have a level of trust, we had a level of loyalty with each other. And this is, again, we knew that how we can take control, each one of us, which are leadership qualities. We were able to take control of our happiness. So this is, again, something that we all did. And this is working together in that one corporate environment. And I did create several different employee appreciation groups at several different corporations that I did go to work at. So this is also where I recognized like my gift of working with all of us, as we all have different backgrounds. We all are coming from different places, but we have a common issue or a common grievance. And so this is where we come together and we laugh and we joke. And again, we find a way to get happy.
I love it. I love it. And it really boils down to being active, making a commitment, making a change instead of just waiting, and also relationships, you know. So I would think that it would be really interesting for our listeners that maybe are in that position or are halfway a little bit better or whatnot, but want to get better at it. So what do you think the steps are? So you say, you know, you've been there, done that before, and you shifted everything around. You took this boat and turned it around into a happy, you know, sunrise, sunset location, direction. So what do you think is really important, like a few steps or whatnot, a few hints or tips for the listeners that they can say, you know what, that's actually doable. I'm going to do this.
Well, yeah, it's first, I'm going to let everyone who's listening know you do need to take control. Like you have to take a step back and kind of be honest with yourself and kind of tell yourself, I want to get happy, or I want to be happy, or I want to be in a different place than where I'm at right now. And then once you kind of, again, just be honest with yourself, also kind of forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for whatever it is that you feel has been preventing you from being happy, and let it go. Just let it go. Exhale, like, whew.
Yeah, and why hold on, right?
Yeah, just breathe. And again, a lot of time, I'm going to speak from the corporate sense, like I speak to a lot of C-suite, a lot of like chief operating, chief something. And there's so many things that are holding on to them, that have so much control on to them. Once they realize that you're in total control, let it go, just breathe. That's the first like step that you need to take. And then everything else, it does kind of fall into place. And this is where you take a step back and you find out what is it that you want to do to make yourself happy. Not what makes you happy. What do you want to do to make yourself happy? And in my scenario, like I said, I found that I had a very big joy when I helped someone else, when I shared information with someone else and I saw them smile, or I saw them able to do something that they thought they never were able to do, or they got out of a certain situation. So I use that as, okay, that's what makes me happy. That's what I like to do. That's something that I can do, and it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't really take away from my time. These were all like very little minute things that, wow, I can do something that makes me happy. And again, taking the step back, that's from a business perspective, that's always the first step, a plan of action. So anyone, again, who's in a place where, and especially in the corporate world, if they're struggling with, maybe stress, anxiety, sadness, just take a step back. And then my second advice is just to be okay with being alone for a second while you're taking that step back. It's okay to be alone. That doesn't make you lonely. It just allows you that peace and solitude to kind of find out about yourself. And then the third thing I would say, and these are steps, is find like-minded or people that are on the same, and I'm going to use this a lot, on the same wavelength, on the same energy that you share. And that's a big thing. Energy, I do believe in that. I
Yeah.
think you do too, Jacqueline.
I'm
So
all about energy.
yes, I'm all about energy. Once you realize again who you are and what you can do to make yourself happy and what makes you happy, you do kind of also your energy does change. Your personality, who you are, you do change. So your previous relationships, your previous friends, they may not be the same because again, once you identify those things, it's not going to be exactly the same. So that's why I say challenge yourself on finding like-minded friendships, like-minded relationships. And if you like to plant, go to a garden club. you know if you like to listen to jazz music, maybe go to a jazz festival. And if you can't do those things, maybe download a jazz podcast, or again, if you like plants, listen to something that's talking about plants. I'm just saying, do the things that make you happy. And again, you will get more and more happy, which will change your energy. And then this is where you're going to find more people just like you.
Absolutely. And I mean, listen, when you're feeling really good, be it happy, be it even feeling good in sadness, be it even feeling good in change, if you feel good with whatever is going on in your life, that means you're aligned. And an aligned person, one aligned person is a million times more powerful than 1,000 unaligned people. That's just how it goes. And then from there, you're actually really in charge and control. So I love that. I love that responsibility taking, self-reflecting, shifting, and to just kind of go inward. I'm a big fan of that. So that is on a personal side for everyone. It doesn't matter what position you are or have or what you work to do. How would you think to implement that into work? So how do you think a business can implement supporting people and the whole culture in a business to be on a happier, more peaceful, healthier level?
Absolutely. So this is where leaders just need to have a conversation. Just honestly, just have a town halls are wonderful to have conversations. And I know now with COVID, many of us are like, we're doing this right now with the Zoom, but this is where, just some type of engagement campaign. Many of these corporations, they have marketing teams that can explain how to engage with their employees, but engagement is the key. We have to talk with each other. We have to find out what is it that is bothering us. We all know we have to go to work. We all know we have to clock in at 8 a.m. We all know we're going to be late at 6 minutes after 8, whatever it may be. We know those things. Again, those are like black and white. We know what those things are. But what are the other things that's causing us to have maybe, again, some stresses, some anxiety? So from a leader's perspective, this is where, and again, from a business owner or whatsoever it is, your responsibility as well. You should be accountable for the people that you work with or work for you, how they are, if they're happy. I mean, it's not your responsibility to make them happy, but at least just to find out, have a conversation, because I have found that attrition is highly correlated to disgruntled employees. They usually quit when they're not happy, and they usually do not, their output and their performance is not the best when they're not happy. And again, it's not our job to make the next person happy, but it should be our job, especially if someone is working with us or for us, to find out if they are happy. And again, if someone is dealing with scenarios where it's, again, outside of the job scope or the business scope, that's something that we don't have control over. But talking, again, from a leader's perspective, providing resources to where the individuals can talk, to providing opportunities and outlets. Again, there's employee EAPs where they can call and they have talks with like a psychiatrist or psychologist for free. There's things that they can invest in. They can bring speakers in that are like, again, I know many life coaches, happiness coaches, individuals, again, that have, it's not about getting gross profit margin. That's not about that. It's about, again, lessening the attrition, lessening the individuals who are, the production is not the best, because again, something that you can't really put a finger on. So that's where my advice again to corporations is have a conversation, have a real conversation with your employees, have a vested conversation, not just because to check off a box, because diversity, equity, and inclusion is the hot topic right now, and create a department, like be genuine and authentic in these conversations that we're having with each other. And that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing because again, authenticity is very rare these days.
Yeah, and I like how you bring it up, and the word that comes to my mind is humanize it, you know?
Correct.
Humanize the workplace too. Just because you're a leader or you're the owner, you don't stand at top of everything. It's like humanize everything, your relationships, there we go again. And when you said before, we're not responsible, or an owner is not responsible to, you know, to make people happy. And I very much agree, because it's really everyone's own choice and choosing how happy they actually want to be, because there's never a ceiling as to how happy you can be. It's never, there's never a top to it or a stop to it. But I do believe that what the companies are responsible for, and I'm saying is a little bit stern, that you're responsible for the energy in the company. What are you creating? Because it's your company. If you create a high vibe place, then, you know, people can come in and be happy, or they can bring even higher happiness in and shift your company higher. So it's not about being responsible for making people happy, but it's being responsible for the energy, the vibe, the workplace, the culture that you're actually creating in your company. And when you take responsibility of that, you're going to be a more proud owner. And I mean, it's going to lift you up in the heavens, because you're like, wow, I'm really good at this. People want to work for me. People want to stay. People are happy. And it fills your heart again, because it comes from an open heart doing business. And it's not the mind, or it's not to really just say, who am I? What energy am I, and what do I bring into the company? Because you're creating the stage for the company and for your people. Would you agree?
Correct. And that's a challenge in itself right there, because not every corporation shares that ideology, me and you said. So this is where, again, it is something that we as humans, we have to look at each other and see that we are all human. And again, we all come from different backgrounds, and happiness is also a perspective. So my definition of happiness may not be the same as yours. And so that is, again, in itself, diversity. That in itself is something, again, that creates a commonality between me and you. We both are searching for happiness, but we have a different perspective, or maybe a different way of going about getting our happiness. But at the end of the day, we both are searching for our happiness. We're both trying to create our happiness, and we both want to be happy. So that's, at the end of the day, that's the subject. That's what we're trying to do. That. And that's something I've realized, if we realize that together, we can really do what we say we're trying to do.
And also being transparent about it. You know, that there is nothing wrong with people being different, wanting different things and whatnot. We're all human beings here to live our lives. However, if a company is transparent, it really then gives people the chance to say, you know what, that fits for me, or that does not fit for me.
Yes.
And that creates, that creates a really nice environment, I think. So you're bringing up diversity, and I love that word. And I know you're a specialist, you're an expert in that, and it's really dear to your heart. So talk a little bit about diversity and happiness, and how it all ties in, and what you like so much about it, and what your voice is for this.
Well, diversity is a really big word. And a lot of people have been using it lately. For me, it's been my life. I think I mentioned, so I am South Asian. I'm South Asian descent, but I was born in Queens, New York. And I went to a Catholic school. I'm not Catholic, by the way. I went to a Catholic school for several years. Then I left Queens, New York, and came down to Florida. And I moved to a place where it was very agricultural, extreme. They had one blinking yellow light. And I went to, and I went to a private school for my entire, elementary years. And I was going to go to a private high school, but due to things, life changes, we ended up coming and going to a public school, which is fine. It was great, but it was very different from a Catholic school, a Catholic high school where, nuns and priests and things like that. So I experienced an educational shift there and a cultural shift as well as everything else. And then from there, I went to college at University of South Florida and Hillsborough Community College, which is up here in Tampa. So I left this super metro place as a young adult, moved down to a super agricultural place in high school, then moved up to almost in the middle metro Tampa. And this is where I ended up just planting my roots and staying here. But I discovered so much about myself along the way. I never fit any stereotype because, again, I went from up north to down south to agricultural to big city to metro. It was just all in a period of like maybe 2 decades. So this is where I found out that I just love life. I love living. I love the fact that I found out that we're so different. We as humans, I know we look different, but we're just so different in a great way. We have all different kinds of stories and then the commonality. So I'm from New York, and then coming down to Florida, I met other New Yorkers. So we may not all look the same, but we're from New York. So
I lived in New York for a long time, and now we're neighbors in Tampa.
Exactly. It means I feel like I'm meeting more and more New Yorkers today than I ever did in New York. But this is where, we found a commonality. So again, we're not the same people. Like it might be a guy, I'm a girl. They're from Poland. Again, I'm of South Asian descent. Someone may speak Spanish. I only speak English, but we're from New York. We're from New York. And we all are just like so happy to meet each other. So on that tip is where, again, I really found my passion for finding diverse people that were just like me. And then from that point, from in high school, I went to a high school. And again, I like nice looking things, I like pretty things, I like shiny things. So I participated in beauty pageants. So, but in my world, again, I'm so different. I love diversity. I just want to show everybody everything beautiful. I wore our traditional Indian garb for my evening gown. So then this was the late 90s. So I was very proud of, but not because it's not something that I needed to do or I had to do, but it's beautiful. It's pretty. Haven't you seen this? I was so excited to show my town where, again, they were not as diverse as Queens, New York, about my culture. And I wanted to share that with them because, again, I recognize many of these individuals appreciated beautiful things, and they appreciated, again, something that was just nice and something that made you smile. And I actually won that pageant. So with
congratulations.
Evening gown. But it was because of my way to express how we all, again, found something, a common thing that all of us found beautiful. And that's what I was able to convey. So as I became, again, more and more as an adult, young woman, I wanted to get more involved with the powers that be, hence the government.
Yes, exactly. So how does that all tie in then?
Because I see what's going on right now in the world. And again, what I said, we need to help each other. And I found out that my passion is helping because I needed help. So when in government right now, there's a lot of people, servant leaders that want to help. And unfortunately, they're so high up, they don't really know what's going on at the bottom of the ladder. So they want to help, but they don't really know. So this is where the diversity, I was like, okay, and I still am. I do believe representation matters because there's certain people, it's just a different perspective. So you just can't see. And so you just don't know until you're kind of like either told or actually in it, exposed into it. So that's how that's my mission, or that was my passion or my goal into getting into politics. Not because I love being a politician or any of those things, but because I do believe that they are servant leaders right now and need to know what's really going on and what's affecting us out here. And diversity is huge. We have a lot of different people. You yourself are from a whole nother country and are here with
Switzerland,
me now.
yes.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
we have so many more different people that are here. Things have changed. And this is where we need to have more beautiful conversations, more open conversations, and our politicians, I want to share that information with them. And that's why, again, I got into politics. I started, I just literally just Googled, how can I get involved? Literally Googled, how can I get involved? And I started volunteering. Just that's it, just volunteering. And if you're looking for an opportunity to volunteer, just look for a
Oh
non-for-profit. There
yeah,
are
there's
so many
so many
opportunities.
amazing opportunities. Yes.
Absolutely. And then this is where the leadership started to come into play, because as a volunteer, a lot of people are just there, just to be there. But me, I wanted to know, I wanted to learn. I want to learn about all your services. I want to learn about all your program, all your programs, and who you're helping and how I can help some more. So just baby steps with the volunteering is what started showing me, again, all different kinds of people are out here that need help. And there's all different kinds of help, Jacqueline, too. There's financial help, there's emotional help, there's, again, there's a professional help. There's so much help that is needed out here. And it opened my eyes, again, in regards to the politics and government, that they're unaware of all the different kinds of people that are out here and how much help is needed, and then how many other resources that we can share with each other and all these other things. So I took a step again, and I went into my county's website, and I saw that they had some boards, some councils, and I looked for openings, and it just so happened there was an opening with our Diversity Advisory Council.
There we go.
To the Board of County Commissioners. And this is where the accountability and the responsibility comes into play of taking charge of my own happiness. We had to, you have to write an essay, you have to have references, you have to do the normal things. And I was appointed to be on this council, and I do represent the South Asian community, but there are 26 other members of this council that represent all the different dynamic factors and different communities within Hillsborough County. And this is where it opened up my world of, oh my goodness, how many other people and how many other initiatives and how many other, it's just so exciting to be on this council. And again, moving forward, meeting small businesses within Tampa, many of them just not aware of the different resources and different opportunities that are out here to help us if you're a small business. And again, knowing about all these resources from the volunteering, learning about all these different services, meeting all these leaders from the volunteering, then applying for this role from, again, my own research and so forth. I got this. Now I'm able to provide the help that I was so looking for when I was coming up as an entrepreneur, business leader, things like that.
Love it.
And again,
love it. And
so happy.
It's just amazing, because I'm listening to your story, and what comes through is it just makes you so happy, and you followed your happiness. And it shows that when you follow your happiness, be it as an entrepreneur, be it as a private, person, be it really in anything, in a big corporation, if you follow where the happiness goes or where you feel happy, only good stuff can really come out, and you're going to share and spread that with others. And that's really, I think that's that big shift we're invited to, to go more into the heart and say, okay, what does that really mean for me? So you also are working as an entrepreneur. I know you are supporting others, but you also are an entrepreneur and an investor, and you're doing media support for different companies. One is the Bucks, right? Which I'm really excited. So we're a big football family. So this is really nice. So where do you think happiness comes, not just for you, but how to create happiness in these organizations? Because we talked a little bit corporations, we talked a little bit, your own personal happiness. We talked a little bit about, politics. So from the other million things that you're doing, which is the supporting in media and all that, how do you think happiness ties in for these companies and your work together?
Well, So currently I am on the community impact, social impact for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And
Oh,
what we,
excellent.
yeah, so for Tampa Bay, former
Yeah, I
Buccaneers,
know, right?
former Super Bowl champions and former Stanley Cup champions. And they both of them are doing the same thing that me and you just talked about, taking responsibility and taking the initiative to be proactive in speaking to the fans and speaking to their employees about community impact and how they can make a social impact. So these two corporations are the Glazer family and the Jeff Vinnick. These are two major families that are vested in the Tampa Bay area, and they are individuals like themselves. These families themselves believe in giving back, and they also believe in standing, like being what it's walking the talk. So if you're going to say what is something, you need to be able to actually walk the talk. And both of these corporations I identified, because I've lived in Tampa for over 20 years. So very similar to what you said, I like to align myself with individuals or corporations that share the same energy. So the Buccaneers, they're huge on energy. The Tampa Bay Lightning is huge on energy. So these teams, and again, I'm on this team, that's what we do. We literally spread energy throughout our home games. We speak to them about the different initiatives that are going on in Tampa. And again, the biggest thing with these corporations, they want people to walk the talk. So this is where I go and talk about accountability, responsibility, where we need to take charge of our community and do X, Y, and Z, whatever initiative that the Buccaneers is pushing. And right now it is scholarships for girls flag football, collegiate girls.
I saw that. That's amazing. Yep. Yes.
And they've been doing that. And I'm so proud to be a part of that initiative, just again. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning, they do a lot within that. I mean, they're huge in regards to the Jeff Vinnick Foundation, in regards to our Tampa Bay Riverwalk. Just the Riverwalk alone has a lot to do. It has a lot to say thank you to for the Vinnick Foundation. But these two companies, I did my research once again, and regards to getting aligned with positive energy. And they both come from a very, and this is where my core is, their family virtues or their family values about walking the talk and giving back. So me, I mean, as far as being an entrepreneur, like I did work, like I went to work. I had a job, work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And I did do the normal, like, again, unfortunately, my mom is not a queen. So I do have to go to work just like everyone else. But at this time, we have a plan of action. And this is where, as far as the entrepreneurship comes, I aligned myself. I did some research. Again, the Buccaneers, the social impact, that's a very more of a passion thing. The Tampa Bay Lightning is more of a passion thing. There's another company that I do impact with, and it's Your Tampa Markets. And these are the small businesses, like 50 to 80 small businesses that set up their festivals right on the Tampa Riverwalk. And I support them as well. And this is how we support them. Again, talking about the different initiatives, talking about the different struggles that we're all dealing with in Tampa and beyond, and how we can help each other. With the Buccaneers, I collect money from the season pass members and, try to see how we can redistribute that into our community initiatives. The Jeff Vinnick Foundation, same thing. We talk, and if we can find donors and so forth who are, again, having a great time and they want to walk the talk and give back, this is where I come into play. And again, Your Tampa Markets is several entrepreneurs, small businesses. So I do have a brand You Tampa. It's a small little branding, social media, content creating.
That's
and this
wonderful.
is where I provide my services to these small, and when I say small businesses, they're so small, and I want to make sure that they're successful. So sharing the resources from the county and sharing because I am a digital marketer, I can share those free services, if not seriously discounted, to these small businesses. The Buccaneers, I do share their content. And again, with my professional network and my social network. So they're appreciative of that. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, same thing. In fact, we have a party tonight to go to, end of the year. It's like our prom tonight.
That's amazing. Oh, that's wonderful. See, I really just like all that you're saying, and it ties in back to being, being in it. It's not something you're looking from the outside. I want to feel better, or I want to be happy. And then you're looking at who can give that to you and who can make that for you. It's really to be in there. Go in there, with your fingers in the clay and in your life, and make it happen. Research, try to figure out what it means for you. And in companies, is it private or companies? It's the same thing. You own a company, you're a leader, hold yourself responsible of the energy you're creating. Put your fingers in the clay, and all it does, it might sound like, oh, there's an additional job, now that I run the company, I have even more to do, but it actually isn't. It's going to make it easier and simpler for any corporate leadership when they deal with their own happiness. They hang out with themselves a little bit. They shift their energy, because then you act and work and you do from an energetic, it's like fuel that never will go away anymore, because you're constantly aligning with you. It's not something additional to make you tired. It's aligning with who you really are and showing up with that force, meaning that half the work is already done because you showed up aligned. I really am a huge believer in that. So,
and it's very magnetic. So you will find and you will attract people with the same type of energy. So
very much
individuals, don't be scared to take a leap. Don't be scared to get in it, because you will find it's your energy, and it's like a magnet. You will grab those people. Since I've only been so active like this I've always been active, but as far as like with the political, the brand new Tampa, the Buccaneers, like all those other all the other little things, it's only been, I'm just to let anyone know that's listening, I only made this decision to get in it and to be about it and to be in control of my own happiness. I really only made this decision back in 2017. And so I don't want anyone listening to think that, something, I snapped my finger and it's magical and something just happened. It did take a little bit of time, and that's okay that it took a little bit of time, because any masterpiece in life, any great monument, anything that you're looking at that has been around for centuries has not just happened overnight. It took some time to create that masterpiece.
And you got to stay with it. You got to stay with it. And that's why when somebody says follow your heart, it's really true. But there is a story behind that. Following your heart is actually following your power, following your energy, following, the changes that you want. And I always say, change, speak up for it. You can be the change. And so there is so much. We could talk for hours, but we kind of are at the end of our time. I think we need to have a second episode for sure. And so where can people find you, Janelle? I think everyone should just really reach out and be connected with you, because you are everything that I think of a, magic maker.
Oh, thank you.
And I know it's not just happened. You are standing tall and proud there, and you are making this happen. So where can people find you?
Sure. Yeah. I do have a small little website, and you're more than welcome to go send me a message. It's Brand You Tampa, very traditional spelt, Brand You Tampa. And I have a little instant messaging. You can send me an instant message. You can see pictures. There's an Instagram page that's also connected to that. If you are a small business looking for support within the community, you can always send me an email. It's Your Tampa Markets, info@Your Tampa Markets. And I just send an email. I'm very, very good at connecting.
LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn
yes,
is good
that was my next one I was going to say. Then if you're, again, in corporate America and you're looking for, someone you want to sit down and have a cup of coffee, talk about different opportunities within your corporation, I do have a LinkedIn profile, and it's my name, traditionally Janelle Khargie. And I'd love to connect. I'm open to coffee. That's the LinkedIn thing. I'm open to coffee.
Oh, that's how we started. I love it. That's how we started. It's really, really amazing. So thank you for all your wisdom and for your story, because I know it's gonna inspire people Thank you for sharing about aligning and just everything. Thank you for just sharing your energy with us. Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, and thank you for having me. This was wonderful. As you see, I can't stop smiling.
Yeah, I'm the same, right? So, and listeners, listen, I hope you can't stop smiling either. Take that smile, that wisdom, and that uplifting energy and just go change the world out there with whatever that means for you. Thank you for listening.